Welcome, Blackhawk families. We are the La Quinta High School Counseling Department, and we are here recording for the senior class presentation for all of the parents, guardians, aunts, uncles, anybody out there supporting one of the seniors of the class of 2024. Tonight, we're going to be going over pertinent information that relates to college, career, guidance for the class of 2024 specifically. So we are excited you've logged on. We did decide to record this video tonight because we've tried some in-person presentations, we've tried live parent presentations, and what we found is, we are all very busy. Lots of our seniors are involved in sports, dance, theater, and other productions, and you all want to be part of that. So this just gives us a way to communicate all that pertinent information, but whenever it's convenient for you to watch. So we do hope that you're watching this within the first couple weeks of September so that we can be prepared for all of the deadlines and timelines that come up in senior year, which you'll hear about tonight. So tonight we're going to be covering who we are as the counseling staff, what we hope to support your students with. We're going to briefly go over the high school graduation requirements one more time, make sure all of our students are hitting all those important benchmarks, what their post-secondary options are, those post-secondary timelines that are so important. We're going to talk about cost of college and financial aid, which we will get into much more in depth, and we are here to walk alongside you. But we will have more presentations and workshops available, and then some upcoming events. So just an opening message. We do have a new assistant principal overseeing our counseling department. So if you have any questions related to counseling, you are going to go to Miss Kate Keener, who's our assistant principal, with her little picture there up on the screen. Just to go over our mission, La Quinta High School's mission statement, we are a culturally diverse community wanting to provide through a wide range of programs and opportunities an academic, creative, social, and co-curricular environment that develops well-rounded, lifelong learners who are productive, ethical, and global citizens. All right, who are your counselors? So we have 6 full-time counselors here at La Quinta High School and a full-time college and career technician. So your counselors are divided up by alphabet. We have slightly changed our alpha caseload. So if you have any questions after this video, you can go to our website. It'll say the alpha breakdown, but we have Miss Tavero, Miss Beltran, now going by Miss Ramirez, myself, Miss Michelle Morales, Miss Elva Pena, Mr. Alfonso Olachea, and Mr. Antonio Rodriguez. So we do encourage you anytime you have questions to shoot us an email or reach out by phone. We're all here to support your students. And you will be hearing from each of us during the presentation tonight. So getting us started is Ms. Trevero.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on what time you guys are going to watch this video. Right now, I'm going to go over the high school requirements. So it's really important that all of our seniors are preparing for their graduation. It's really important that they are hitting all of these requirements. So they need to make sure that they have 4 years of English, meaning they need 40 credits of English, 3 years of social studies. So this is going to be world history, U.S. history, Gov and Econ. Another 3 years of math, 2 years of science. They do need 1 year of either world language, visual performing arts, or RCTE. They do need 2 years of physical education. And then anything extra that's going to be falling under their electives, they do need 70 elective credits. So altogether, in order for them to graduate, they do need to make sure that they hit 220 credits, but they also need to make sure that they fill out the financial aid application. So that's going to be another requirement for graduation. And one of our counselors are going to go over how they can fill that financial aid application a little bit later in this presentation. So it's really important that you guys go over the graduation requirements. If you guys log into Student View or Parent View, you guys are also able to kind of see the breakdown of all of the requirements necessary for us to make sure that all of our seniors are graduating on time.
Where can they find that breakdown, Mr. Vero?
So they'll be able to see it on Student View if they go under their course history. So they'll be able to see all that breakdown. It should be green if they fulfilled that requirement. It might be yellow if they're working on fulfilling that requirement. So if there's any questions that you guys might have, please make sure that you guys reach out to your school counselor. And one important thing that we want to make sure we emphasize is your senior year attendance. So it's really important that you guys are here on campus. Daily attendance allows you to understand and complete classwork assignments, which leads you to good grades. It's really important that you pass all of your classes. In order for you to get credits, you do need a D or better. And if you are thinking about going to university, you do need to make sure that you are hitting a C or better. And I'll go over those requirements in a little bit. And then do verify absence affect your attendance? Yes, if you are absent and it is verified, it will still decrease your attendance percentage. This also affects your Coachella ticket eligibility. I'm sure a lot of seniors have heard about the Coachella Fest eligibility. They are able to get a Coachella Fest depending on if they are still going to allow us to provide that to our seniors. So it's really important that you do not miss too many days. Please make sure you reach out to us or your teachers directly if you do know you are going to miss a day. And then remember, if you're required to be absent for multiple days, you can view your classwork through Google Classroom, and it is your responsibility to connect with your teachers and complete any missing assignments. So now I'm going to go over the A through G requirements. So this is if you are thinking about going to university right after high school. So the A through G requirements are very similar to the graduation requirements. They do vary a little bit, but like I mentioned before, you do need a C or better in all of these subjects that are listed here. You do need 2 years of a social studies, so a world history, U.S. history, or Gov and Econ. You need to make sure that you pass 2 years of those courses. You do need 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of science. So this is going to be your biology or your chemistry class. You do need 2 years of a world language, of the same world language. So if it being French or Spanish, it has to be 2 years of the same language. You do need 1 year of visual and performing arts class, which can vary. It can be theater, ceramics, photo. It can be which other classes? I'm like blanking. There's so many different
Choir or band?
choir, band. So there's a lot of options that we do have here on campus. So you do need 1 year of a visual and performing arts class and then 1 college prep. So if you do end up taking anything extra, that will count as your college prep elective. So like I mentioned, it's the same as graduation. Plus, you do need to make sure that you get a C or better in your classes. In your classes, if you do have a question, please make sure you reach out to your counselor. Like I mentioned, you do need 1 year of a visual and performing arts class, but also 2 years of the same world language. Classes taken must be UC approved. And then if you are thinking about going to a Cal State, so a CSU, a minimum GPA requirement is a 2.5 or higher. And if you are thinking about going to a UC school, a minimum GPA requirement is a 3.0. Private schools, if you're thinking about private schools, they do vary. So making sure that you do log into their websites and check every single one of those schools that you're interested in applying to. If you are thinking about credit recovery or if you are trying to retake a course to be A through G, we do have a couple chances for you to do that. So students need to recover 5 or 10 credits to graduate, may enroll in a 0 period class, but space is limited. Right now we are currently full. So if you are thinking about being part of a 0 period, please talk to your counselor. And then a possibility of second semester or as soon as an open on spot becomes available, we are able to add you to that course. So all 0 period classes use Apex online platform. So it is independent work. So they'll come in, they'll work on their computer, and then they'll be able to go on their own pace. They can work on it at home. The only thing that they cannot work on at home is going to be those tests. They need to be opened by a teacher and they have to be present on campus. You cannot be absent for more than 10 days because if you are, you will be dropped from the course and you will not receive any credit. And then you are also limited to only taking 2 classes per semester. So please make sure that you do reach out to your counselors, especially if you have a question of retaking any of these courses. And I do want to emphasize that NCAA does not recognize APEX courses as of fall 2023. And one of our counselors will be going over the NCAA requirements in a little bit as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Giselle. So one of the things I think I failed to mention, parents, we're going over all this information for all of you. We are going to be presenting information to the seniors directly through their English classes next week. So I believe that's on September 11th. They'll be getting all of that information and hearing all of this. In addition to that, what we do is all of the counselors will pull in their seniors individually in the month of September, early October. Our goal is to go over the graduation plan, find out if they're on track for A through G, discuss that with them, find out what they're thinking of doing after high school, and really sitting through and making sure they know what their plan looks like. So they're all going to get that individual support. And then we have lots of opportunities for additional support through Blackhawk Hour. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. NCAA. So this is specifically talking to our student athletes that are out there. This is senior year. So if your child is interested in trying to pursue athletics at the college level, there are some steps that they need to take. So athletes need to register in advance. This is a little behind the ball, but that's okay. They can still do it. So they need to register online with NCAA if they're interested in playing a sport. And I would also suggest registering with NAIA. That's the overseeing governing body for the private schools and smaller independent colleges. In the meeting, when they come to meet with us, they need to tell us. Not all of our athletes have ambitions of going on, and some we have no idea. So they need to let us know, hey, I'm interested in playing sports beyond the college level. General rule of thumb for playing NCAA and NAIA, the kids need to have a 2.3 GPA. So they call it 2.3 or take a knee, meaning if you don't have a 2.3, you might be able to redshirt, but you will not be eligible to play your freshman year. They calculate their GPA by looking at their core classes, their English grades, math, science, social science, and foreign language only. So it's really important that if one of those classes fell below, maybe a C level, that they're looking at ways they can remediate that. That's not APEX. So it cannot be an online course. If they have space in their schedule, we might need to move something around to make sure that they've satisfied all those requirements. Okay.
All right, and moving on to our post-secondary options. And so things that we want to highlight is there's a multitude of paths that we can take after high school, and realistically, we're not restricted to one. We always love to highlight that the opportunities are from enrollment, enlistment, and employment. And so throughout our conversations with our seniors, when we're doing our senior evaluations, there will be the conversation of what's next. And some of the things that we'll review is everything from our community colleges, whether wanting an associate's degree or transferring a four-year university, whether locally with our CSUs or UCs, or outside of state or within private schools. We'll also look over other opportunities like trade school, military, if so, which branch, and then employment. So these will be discussions that we have when we are doing our senior evaluations and seeing what would be the next steps for your students as we continue on. For any student, and usually we'll highlight this, the big question going into junior and senior year is, what do you plan to do? And so if we're still struggling with that question, seniors, family, I would definitely look at californiacolleges.edu. Each of our students has access to an account through their school email. This is a really great place where you can go on there, take assessments, see what professions might be in mix with things that you're interested in, as well as looking at schools, looking at programs that may support you on any goals that you have. So from assessments to highlighting your interests and profession or careers that'll help with those interests, or to figure out what education to take for the career path that you're interested in, californiacolleges.edu is a wonderful program. And you can do your applications for financial aid and your college applications linked in, so you don't have to sit there typing in your courses and grade by grade. Utilizing this, your profile will help you insert some of that information for you, making the application process a lot more easier. Now, when we're talking about enrollment with college and universities, getting ready for our applications, making sure that, one, we acknowledge what schools we're applying to, and not because we love the school, the title, the football team, but more so that we're highlighting that it's covering the major, the profession that we're interested in. Is it a school that we see ourselves going to? Is it too big, too small? Is it close, too far? Or we'd rather have that choice of being far? definitely make a list of the schools that you're interested in, and then make sure to look at the deadlines. Yes, there are some regular deadlines for many of the colleges, but there may be some that have specific dates for that school. You'll want to look at availability. Is it what you're looking for? Is it everyone at that school who wants to be a doctor or wants to study biology or whatever the career might be? So you want to see what the availability is. Usually we'll highlight, make sure you look at that dream school. Don't be shy to apply to it. Also look at that school who, when you look at the demographics, it definitely resembles yours regarding your grades, profession, and so forth. So definitely be open to different options, but also don't be scared to apply for that dream school. And then next, community colleges. We do like to highlight that October 1st, 2023 will be the opening deadline, or not deadline, the opening date for California community colleges. By creating an account on California community colleges, you are able to apply to any community college within California. Our most local one is College of the Desert. One thing to look at is looking at the financial aid, looking at programs for ours, for College of the Desert. We have a program that's called Edge and Pledge that gives our students the opportunity to have their tuition paid for free for the first 2 years by maintaining the requirements. That's a 2.0 GPA within college, attending regular sessions with your community counselor, school counselor, and then also doing community service. So yes, there are requirements, but there is an opportunity to get your education paid for at College of the Desert. There are other programs such or just like that at other community colleges. I would highly recommend, if there's other community colleges that you're interested in, connecting with your school counselor, letting them know, and then looking into what programs and opportunities they have. For ours, you must be local at COD to get that opportunity So we definitely want to see if there's other opportunities out there if you're thinking of going outside of the Valley.
So hi, and I'm going to be talking to you about just Cal State applications. And like Ms. Pena mentioned earlier, we encourage all of our students to apply through californiacolleges.edu. It makes it so much easier. We found that last year our students were manually inputting the grades, but this makes it a lot easier for students. So one of the requirements to apply to Cal States are a 2.5 minimum GPA. However, keep in mind that this is the minimum GPA. We obviously would love for you to aim higher, in that you've completed the A through G requirements, like Ms. Chavero mentioned earlier. There is a $70 application fee. There is a fee waiver for those that qualify. And you'll find out if you qualify for that waiver after you answer some questions that about your financials, your family's financial through your application. It'll tell you there if you qualify for that waiver. So application filing period is October 1st through November 30th. And like Ms. Pena mentioned, we want to encourage you to please do some research in advance. Last year we had a couple students that were applying to universities that didn't even have the major that they were thinking of. And then keep in mind that some majors might be impacted. So that might mean, what that means to you is that it's a lot more competitive. So you're going to need that 4th year of math in a higher GPA for sure. So one of the things that we encourage all of our students to do is to apply to EOP program. So what is this? It's the Equal Opportunity Program. It offers first generation or low income college students support while you're in college, right? So it offers free tutoring, mentoring, sometimes a laptop, free book rentals, which is a huge advantage. And then additional grant or scholarship opportunities. How do you apply to this? It's through the Cal State application. Again, you answer a few additional questions about your family background. Last year, we also noticed that some students just said, oh, I'll get back to it later, and they never did. It's best that you just answer the questions on the spot. We really do encourage that, and it has so many benefits. So, we just encourage all our students that are first generation and that qualify as low income that apply. So the University of California requirements. So of course, students must complete your A through G requirements, and you have to have a 3.0 or higher. If you do notice, some of the universities, the average or the mean for admitted students is a lot higher. So I encourage you to do some research there. The application filing period is also October 1st through November 30th. You can already start creating your account now. We did offer some assistance last week, for example, through office hours to help students create their account. We will continue to offer office hour sessions to help and encourage students to apply. Of course, apply through californiacolleges.edu. You're going to need an unofficial transcript that we can definitely print for you. We cannot give you an official transcript, but we can help you with an unofficial. You can also look for this coursework, like Ms. Chavedo mentioned earlier, under student coursework. I personally love to just look at the unofficial transcript. It's a lot easier on the eyes. You will also be required to answer the personal insight questions, also known as the PIQs. And these are a total of 8 questions. And out of those 8 questions, you have to select 4 and answer those. We just can't stress enough how much time and effort you have to put into these PIQs. Remember that students apply with the same grades. They look good on the transcript. What will make you stand out is your answers on the personal insight questions. Have an English teacher read over it. Have your counselor read over it. We want to see your drafts, and we enjoy reading them. You also are going to need a list of awards and accomplishments, different community service, extracurricular activities, and you need to know your parents' adjusted gross income for the 2022 taxes. And this will also determine if you qualify for the waiver or not. So I don't know if you remember, as juniors, you were asked to fill out an ELC permission slip or a form. And this is for the students that rank in the top 9% in your class. You were asked to fill it out, and this would guarantee you an entrance or eligibility into a UC campus. However, that doesn't mean that it just magically falls on your lap. You still have to apply to at least one campus to maintain eligibility. And you also have to maintain your rank. You have to maintain your grades. So if you, don't make it into the 9% of your class rank this year, that means that you don't qualify for that. But it doesn't mean that you can't apply to UC. You can definitely apply. And I think
Ms. Ramirez,
yes.
I know that we're hoping, parents, that you're writing down your questions as we go through, so that we can follow up and make sure things are clear for you. But I think that the parent adjusted gross income might be a popular question, because we have a lot of families where their kids may be living between households. So they might sometimes be with mom, sometimes be with dad. Who would they be reporting the adjusted gross income for?
Well, I think I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of that, because I know Mr. Rodriguez is going to talk about that in the slides that he'll be talking about. So he'll get into the nitty gritty about the adjusted gross income, and then of course financial aid application and so forth.
Perfect.
So just wait for it.
Got it.
Okay, so now private and independent universities. So how do you apply? So the most common is through the commonapp.org website. And that's already open. Remember that there's a lot of universities, private schools that have rolling admissions, and they're starting in September for your class of 2024. What does that mean? That means that colleges review your applications as they come in. So there's no really hard deadline for college application submission. So continue to just log in, look at deadlines, because they do vary for private schools. So what do you need to apply? You need your transcript, again, your unofficial transcript, your letters of recommendation, and those letters of rec are going to be from 2 teachers and a counselor. And you're going to need to list the awards, extracurricular activities, your community service, and so forth. And you're also going to be asked to write a personal essay. And then again, you're going to need to know your parents' adjusted gross income. So what happens after you apply? So first, you're going to get a confirmation email, and it will basically say, congratulations, you submitted your application. And then for those, we are asking that you register for online application portals. So for every university that you apply to, that you create a portal. You will, and then please make sure that you put in that login information in a safe place, because you wouldn't even believe the amount of students that lose their passwords. And then sometimes it's really hard to retrieve those passwords or, get a new one. So in December and April, you will find out. An admission decision will be sent to you via email, sometimes through your portal. So you need to make sure that you check that portal often. You need to, once you make a decision, you need to make sure that you sign an intent to register and that you pay that amount. So also keep in mind that deposit, there's sometimes a deposit. Often there is. I think there's only been like one school that didn't require a deposit. By May 1st, in that deposit, if you change your mind, you will not get it back. So please make sure that you're making an educated decision, that you talk to your parents, your students, when you decide what school you want to go to. And also, please make sure that you're completing like supplemental application requirements, because last year, again, students got admitted, they got a congratulations, you've been accepted, and then they didn't complete the additional documents that were required. So, for example, they're missing something for financial aid and they didn't submit it. Or they need more information about their parents' income or so forth. So just make sure that you're checking that portal often. And then lastly, and very important, is that your child requests an official final transcript by July 1st from our registrar. And that's not us. That would be their student has to stop by the counseling office and talk to Miss Erica Estrada. She's a registrar and the only person that can send an official transcript. You can send her an email or you can fill out a form here in counseling. And I think that's it.
All right, I think we're going to hear from Miss Cruz.
Hi, I'm Ms. Cruz in the Career Guidance Center, and I'm going to talk to you about military enlistment and who should consider going into the military. There's a lot of students here that aren't really sure what they want to do, and because of that, we offer the ASVAB test once a year, and it's a great test for students who are really not sure what they want to do, and they want to find out what their strengths and their weaknesses are. We encourage the students to take the ASVAB test, and that's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. And it measures their skills, and it helps them to predict what their future occupational successes will be. So it's a test here that a lot of kids aren't sure what it is, but if they go in there, they take it, it'll really help them to decide what they want to do in the future. We're taking the test here December 6th, and about a month later, they're going to have their interpretations done. And that will really, really help them to decide what they want to do and where they want to go. We're not encouraging that they go into the military. We're just encouraging that they take the test. So once they take the test, they get their results, they can kind of have a better idea of what their strengths and weaknesses are. So please encourage your students to sign up and find out, a little bit more about themselves. So employment, vocational trade schools, what student is this a good fit for? So here at La Quinta High School, we have presentations weekly, and during our career, college and career week, we offer different presentations like the Water District comes, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, COD, to talk to the schools, talk to the students about the different trades that we have that are offered here in the Valley. So that's definitely something that they might want to consider if they're not looking at a 4-year. So if they have any questions, they can come and see me and we can talk about what their options are here in the Coachella Valley. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Rodriguez. I know you've, so your student is on track for graduation. Your student is A through G ready, and you're wondering, how am I going to pay for all this? So I'm going to go over the financial aid. What you see on screen here is what we call our estimated cost of attendance, right? So it's a quick breakdown of different expenses that you will incur throughout the duration of your 4 years, or your students' 4 years when they go off to college, right? So if they go straight to a 4-year university, may it be a CSU, they're going to be paying $5,700 for their tuition. And then they have an approximate amount of CSU fees, which is $1,500. If your student is pursuing a UC university, that's going to be a $13,700 cost with $1,600 in UC fees as well. And now we're talking about room and board. Will they live on campus? Will they live with an aunt and uncle? Well, that really varies depending on what the student follows. Keep in mind that some universities do require their incoming freshmen to live on campus. So that's really going to dictate how much money your student will have to pay, because that's also going to have to include a meal plan for your student. Books and supplies and materials, that amount will fluctuate depending on the path or what the student wants to do. If some students want to rent rather than buy, that number is going to be much lower as well. And you have to take into account the personal, travel, and miscellaneous costs. So that's planned for approximately $2,000. For the next slide, so you'll have your different types of financial aid, right? So I'll cover the two different types of financial aid applications that the students will apply for or can apply for. But once they apply, these are the 4 things that you will see here. So you're going to have loans, right? Loans are money you have to pay back, right? So whether it's direct subsidized or direct unsubsidized, or even for you parents, the Direct Plus loan, that is money that you or your students will have to pay back. Work study. Work study is that opportunity to work on campus for an exchange of a dollar amount. So this option is always asked on every college application. Would you like to be involved in work study? We inform our students to click yes. That doesn't necessarily lock them in and say, hey, you have to work on campus. It's just an opportunity that they get in case they want to take it. Scholarships. Many nonprofit, private, and nonprofit and private organizations award our Blackhawks with scholarships. So there's regional, meaning here in the Coachella Valley, there's state, and there's also national. So make sure that you or your students are that you're looking at this together and applying for these scholarships. As we tell our students, the time that you put in is what you'll get out of it. Also, you have grants. Grants, it's going to be a form of money as well. That is not something you have to pay back. So you have Pell Grants, you have your federal supplemental grants, Cal Grant A, B, and C. That is very familiar with here. We are very familiar with here on campus. And you have Iraq and Afghanistan service grants as well. So our next slide will cover which application is right for me, right? So what is this FAFSA everyone's talking about? What is this CAT everyone's talking about? So FAFSA means free application for federal student aid. So if you're a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-U.S. citizen, you will apply for this. This is the application that you will apply for. CATA is the California DREAM Act application. This is for students with no Social Security number or DACA Social Security number. They have a TPS status or U visa. And these are conversations. I know some students will wonder, which application is right for me. They can come and see us here in the counseling office or in the Career Center, and we can help them with that. because some students really don't know which application is right for them. And so what's the path, right? You're going to choose your application. You're going to gather the documents. So it's what they call the prior year, right? So you're going to be using your 2022 taxes. So those taxes are going to be used. You're going to complete the application by March 3rd. You're going to print the confirmation, and then you're going to create your Web Grants account. This is going to be more for your student. They have to make sure that they create the Web Grants account. It's on Web Grants for you. Because this is where they decide where their money is going to go to. So, and if you have to appeal for more financial aid, if there was a hardship, special circumstance, anything happened where there was a huge difference in income, this is where the student will need to reach out to their Office of Financial Aid and appeal if needed. Next slide, please. So why is financial aid so important? Well, aside from it being a graduation requirement as of last year, it creates options and opportunities, right? It supports equity in higher education, college degrees and vocational training results, and increased earning potential, right? So you're gonna make more by going to college, right? A completed financial aid application has been the doorway for most first-generation college students in California. And there's something I don't think I covered prior to this. Our financial aid applications are going to open a little later. They traditionally open in October. This year, we don't have a set date yet, but they're talking about late December. So these applications will be open in late December. So yes, there is a little bit of a time crunch where it's going to be, you have to start it in late December and it's due by March 2nd. So please make sure that you work together with your students to help them complete these applications.
Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Alfonso Olachea. So we have several events coming up for you to attend or your students in October. So Black Hawk Hour is something we rolled out last year where students have the opportunity to meet with a teacher, staff member related, whether it's for classroom support. For instance, we as a counseling department will hold financial aid, college application workshops, etc. To assist students in that process. We will have that ongoing throughout the month of October, as well as the school year. I know, as Mr. Rodriguez mentioned, FAFSA opening up late December. I'm anticipating us holding workshops in January through the March deadline. So please encourage your students to utilize these office hours so that they can get graduation requirements completed, as well as any support they may need. Wednesday, October 4th, we will have a military showcase where all branches will be on campus to talk to students about possible opportunities within the military, all the benefits that come along with that. And then sometimes they even have a pull-up competition, so that's pretty fun. Saturday, October 7th, we will have the SAT. Just a reminder, that is a Saturday, not during the school day. Students must register on College Board. Please have them use their personal email so they get all that information and hold on to that for after high school years. On the 11th of October, we have what is called the College Career Fair at Agua Caliente in Rancho Mirage. This is from 4 to 7 p.m. This is a great event, great opportunity for students to talk to admission counselors, different colleges from around California, even some out of state. I believe there's different organizations and different career just opportunities to speak with professionals that can help them guide in what steps would be needed to achieve their goals. There is transportation available to the first 100 students. The deadline is September 15th. I believe that's with Ms. Cruz in the College and Career Center. And families are more than welcome to attend on their own. It is an open event. And once again, just reiterating what Ms. Cruz had mentioned earlier, the ASVAB is a great opportunity to find your strengths, possible careers students may be interested in. Sign-ups for the December 5th ASVAB will be available with Ms. Cruz here in the counseling office. And don't miss out on our first of the year, first in the past few years, Coffee with the Counselors here at La Quinta High School on Tuesday, September 19th from 8:15 to 9:15 in the morning. There will be refreshments, coffee, just a great opportunity to ask any questions you may have had throughout this presentation, or more clarification on the college application process, financial aid. RSVP is not required, but it is preferred just so we have enough food for everyone, or, well, light snacks. But yes, please submit your questions in advance. We will have a link on the website, or feel free to email your student's counselor. So we look forward to seeing you there.
And this is only for senior parents.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that you know that we cannot accommodate more students and parents. So it is only offered to senior parents and students.
So we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Before we log out, just real quick, I think there was, I had mentioned the tax question, and I think that's a real big one for our families, just because we have so many students that live in split households and just have different information. So, Mr. Rodriguez, who should the student plan on filing, or which parent should plan on filing the FAFSA or CATA with the students if they're in a divorced family?
It used to be it's who the parent, who they spent more time with, but that's going to change as who makes more now. So
Yeah. Yeah, so this is different. So I know we have a lot of parents who have had students go through FAFSA and CATA before, who have graduated, gone away to college or community college, and there's a lot of changes. So another big one is the timeline. Every year prior to this year, the FAFSA and CATA open on October 1st. We still don't have a release date. We just attended the most recent conference. The FAFSA, it is projected to open somewhere around December and the holidays. So the deadline is still going to be March 2nd, but we won't be able to help support our families, and you won't be able to actually fill out the FAFSA until probably mid to late December. And as soon as we get updates on when that opens, we'll be sure to send that out to all of you via school messenger. But just plan for that. So it does give you lots of time to gather your 2022 tax documents together, to have dialogue on, hey, you know, I am financially supporting the child. I will be the one filling out the FAFSA with my student this year. So just plan for that and start having those conversations with your student. We can't stress that enough. We've been really encouraging your seniors, talk to your families. Tell them what you want to do after you leave La Quinta. Have those conversations now, so that you guys can be walking along that journey this year together. And we're just here to help supplement and support as you guys need us. So we hope to see you at Coffee for the Counselors.
Oh, and then also I just wanted to remind parents that you can also start creating your FSA ID. So if you want to get started, you can start creating your FSA ID. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, that's your username for FAFSA.
Correct.
Yeah, do that now. Let us know. Reach out, email, Coffee with the Counselors, phone calls. We're here to support you and your child. Have a great day, Blackhawks.